All right, moving on to the AFC West, the Denver Broncos division. I'm not saying that because I live in Denver, just what I've observed. They kind of have Peyton Manning. So with this division, it still runs through Denver. The Chargers are a good team, a team that can give the Broncos a hard time. Beyond that, the Raiders are going to be pretty bad once again. Big surprise there. And also the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a very good year last year. A lot of people think they're going to drop off this year. It's tough to say, man. Their defense was unstoppable. Then they kind of looked like some phonies towards the end. So I'm kind of leaning towards phonies on defense. And then Alex Smith hasn't really proven he can be more than a game manager. So you still have a top 4 running back in the NFL in Jamal Charles. But outside of that, what do you really have? I mean, they're saying that this Kelsey guy at tight end is looking good in camp. That's nice. But still, beyond that, what do you have? You have Dwayne Bowe, who has like a broken finger, and a bunch of other receivers I can't name. I mean, McCluster, he's kind of a nice weapon, but did he really do much? You know what I'm saying? So I think, in my opinion, they're going to be the third best team in this division behind the Broncos and Chargers. Moving on to the Raiders. The Raiders just announced Derek, making sure it's not David Carr. Derek Carr is their starting quarterback. I agree with that move. Matt Schaub is pretty horrible. He was horrible in Houston. That's why he's not in Houston anymore. And so I think Carr is the better choice at quarterback. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback because they're not a good team. Their defense is maybe middle of the road. Maybe. Their offense has Darren McFadden, who can't stay healthy, MJD, who's over the hill, and a bunch of receivers I can't name. So, fortunately for Derek Carr, it doesn't really matter, bro, that you won the job. You don't have many weapons to throw to. And so I think they will once again be the 4th best or the worst team in this division, and so it won't matter. Moving on to the Chargers. Chargers have a good team. They're better than they were last year, and they were a good team last year. Philip Rivers will continue to produce. Keenan Allen's going to take the next step as far as being a #1 receiver. They have Antonio Gates, who's still producing, but they also have Ladarius Green, who's a nice prospect. So if they can run some 2 tight end sets, which I'm not sure if they do that or not, that would be brilliant because it's going to be hard to guard one of them, let alone both of them. They have enough weapons on offense, is my point. They have Ryan Matthews, Danny Woodhead to throw to, so they can produce on offense. Their defense, in my opinion, will be middle of the road, which is good enough because Philip Rivers will light you up once in a while. And so that'll win enough games, in my opinion, to get them a wild card spot, if a wild card spot, is 9 or 10 wins. So I look at the Chargers as being an 8 to 10 win team, depending on upside or downside. And so that's about that. And last but not least, the Denver Broncos. They will be very good. Once again, they were good last year. They'll be good this year. They still have Peyton. They still have Demaryius Thomas. They added Emmanuel Sanders. He's a Steeler. Not really a fan, but he looks pretty good in camp. And I love what he said about Big Ben, so he wants some brownie points there. Monte Ball, they have faith in him to be the guy. If you look at Peyton's track record, whoever his running back is produces. So it's kind of like, yeah, even if you do produce Monte, you're Peyton's running back. So, whoop-de-doo. They have Julius Thomas, which is a weapon. Wes Welker just got announced as being suspended the first 4 games, which sucks for them. But the good news is he'll be fully recovered from his concussion, so he should come back pretty strong. And on defense, I think they're going to be respectable, man. They had a bad defense last year, and that's why they got exposed in the Super Bowl. And so I think John Elway saw that and addressed it, and he addressed it pretty darn good. He went out and got Aqib Talib, my boy T.J. Ward from the Browns, DeMarcus Ware, some really nice pieces to be respectable on defense. So my point with that is that if they can be a middle-of-the-road team on defense, Peyton's going to outscore you most of the time. But here's what I'm worried about. If you look at the Broncos' schedule this year, not fun. They're playing the Niners and Seahawks division. Not a good time. So they have a tough division, man. So if you're thinking they're going to go 16-0 or 15-1, pump the brakes. I think much more realistic would be somewhere around 12-13 wins this year, which is still going to get you in the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. But they're going to be very good again, and so I watch all the Broncos games since I live here, and so it's fun to watch Peyton. He's a living legend, and so that's it for that division.